Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my first stream. So today we are basically looking at salvaging in the Salvation. So here I've just got up and I'm going over to the elevator, pressing the elevator button and calling it, hopefully. Here it is. Go down to the lobby. And in the lobby, those are the receptionists. Past that pretty quickly. I'm going to look round, turn left, turn right. In front of us is the hospital. And I'm going through security and I'm going to call my ship. So I go over to the fleet manager and find the Salvation. Press retrieve, and now it's going to tell me that it's in my medium hangar, which actually doesn't need to be in a medium hangar because it's only a small ship, but it's put it in a medium hangar. So I've now entered obviously this elevator, found my medium hangar, and now dropping down into the medium hangar where my inventory is as well, so my access to my storage. And as you can see, I haven't got a helmet on at the moment, so I'm going to stick a helmet on and probably grab some sustenance because it's always important. Oh, put a backpack on, very important. Grab a drink. There's 5 there, so I'm going to split them into one, or split one out should I say, and take a drink and a snack, and just have a swizz round, and let's just have a look at what we look like. There we go. So that's in third person view, so running up to my Salvation, the little starter ship which allows us to do Salvation. That's the back where the Salvation, the strip materials come out ready for processing or selling. So let's just enter the ship. A nice animation now of me entering the Salvation, and I will basically now drop over, because I've been using hand controller, or should I say the dual edge, which I've got, which I'm used to for on foot, but now I'm in the ship. I've moved over to my HOSAS, hands on stick and stick, which I find far easier to operate when flying about. So I've called open my hangar, requested launch, and up go my
landing gear raised.
Landing gear, and let's take this Salvation out of the hangar. So I can zoom out quickly because my landing gear are up. Quickly throttle out. Now, because I'm going to do a Salvation, I'm going to show you Salvation. I will now choose a Salvation mission. So open up to my Moby Glass, look for Salvation, and there's a few here, 2,000 feet fee or a 5,000 fee. So basically, it's given me the opportunity to pay a fee to go and salvage a ship, and there I can prove obviously that I'm capable of doing that job. Now I find the 2,000 ones are quite small ships, so I've gone for a bigger fee, the 5,000, which gives me a bigger ship to salvage. It's just easier, I find, to deal with a bigger ship that's got more surface area. Takes a bit longer, but then you end up with more salvageable material to sell.
There is much to discover.
Make some money, which is what salvaging is all about, really. It's about the opportunity to strip down a hull of a ship down to its innards, if you like, or its the network that it's made of. Convert that in the ship into boxes and then sell it. Now this is in quantum. Obviously I'm quantuming driving over to the salvageable ship is telling me whereabouts it is, so I'm able to quantum over. It's not far away. I think it's only a couple of minutes basically to get over there, but I'm obviously just giving you a view of the ship now in third person, which is always nice. So here we are, we've arrived just outside a station, and I can look round now back in first person view and identify whereabouts the ship is, so that I can begin stripping it. So I'm on scan mode, I'm having a look round, and there it is, it's not far away. So I'll just put salvage mode on, just so that I'm prepared really. I don't have to, but out of nav mode basically means that I can go a bit slower, and get up to this ship easier without the risk of smashing into it and blowing up, which I've done a few times, I can tell you. So now there's the ship, and I'm navigating around it to try and get more square on, so that my salvage lasers basically hit it nice and at 90 degrees as much as possible, so that I can strip the metal off the hull easily and uniformly. So that's not bad. I'm sort of 90 degrees, and I'll give something simple first. I'm going to take the metal off that wing there. I know that metal's quite thin on that wing. So closing the distance so that I can maximise the ability to take this metal off nice and cleanly. So I'm going to switch on my laser, and I've just realised actually that there is a bug, as you know, Star Citizen's full of them, but there's ways around them. That when I normally arrive, I can't switch the laser on without turning the power on and off. So I've done that anyway, and switched the power on and off. Got the lasers running. I'm gone into gimbal mode, which basically fixes the ship, but allows me to move the two lasers about, and then quite nicely start to strip off the metal off the wing there. So it's all been molten down and then drawn back into the ship, into its storage compartment, before I am able to get it boxed up, and then it automatically is removed out of that area in the ship into the back, into the storage area at the back, which I showed you earlier when we walked up to the ship. So there's this is an example, obviously, of just stripping that down. You can see the highlight at the moment it's just gone red. It was yellow, but it's now gone red, which means that effectively we're reaching the end of the amount of salvageable material off that particular area. All the areas highlight initially, showing you the salvageable material there, and then effectively when they turn red, it's time to move on to another area. So I'm just trying to navigate down here, just finding the correct buttons to use, which is obviously always a thing with Star Citizen. It really does take a while to come to grips with it, but it's so worth persevering with it. It's just, I mean, it's an amazing game. I mean, the ability, the concepts, the different things that you can do, the technical, the way that this has been built is pretty amazing. I mean, that's why I'm just blown away with it. And this is just one of the loops that you can do in order to make a bit of cash. And it also gets you used to your controls. Basically, gives you an opportunity to use whatever you're using, whether it be mouse and keyboard, sticks, which I like, or hand controller, or mouse. You know, it's so many different ways to do it. You can set it up exactly how you want to use it. I mean, I come from a background basically of using a DualSense controller on PS5 and then on PC gaming, and I set mine up. I found a profile online and could basically set up Star Citizen so that I could operate my DualSense controller. A little bit of jiggery-pokery involved because it doesn't like the PS5 controller, it prefers Xbox controllers. But of course, like anything, there's always a way around things. I mean, I can, if anybody's interested in that, I can point them in the right direction, basically, so that you can use your PS5 controller rather than Xbox controller, if that's what you prefer. But I started off on with a PS5 controller, and then realised that there's so many different actions that you can perform with Star Citizen that I needed more. So I've got voice attack, which is brilliant, which I can do things with my voice, and I get the confirmation back through voice attack that things are happening. Brilliant profile made for voice attack for Star Citizen. I then moved over to 2 joysticks. Tried one of the cheaper Thrustmasters, didn't really get on with it, sold that, and then bought 2 of the more expensive Thrustmasters, the Sol ones, and now use what's called hand on stick and stick, so effectively 2 sticks, left and right hand. And it wasn't very long before I got used to using it, and it just works so well. It just feels like it's the right way to fly. You know, you've got full navigation. You know, it's 6 freedoms of movement, which is effectively more than a helicopter, because obviously a helicopter. Well, actually, let me just think about that. It is similar to a helicopter operating a starship, but obviously a helicopter goes forward very, very quickly and remains going forward. But in a spaceship, you can swizzle round and go in the opposite direction very, very quickly. I might be talking gibberish there, but I'll find a better way of explaining it. More recently, I bought the Toby eye tracker, so that I could track my head movements and my eye movements, and that is just a game changer. What else? I'm now going to get a Stream Deck, so that I not only can make it easier to record and stream videos, but also use the Star Citizen Prost file on the Stream Deck with icons specially created to show you if you want to open the doors, if you want to put the lights on, if you want to change nav mode, if you want to do mining, if you want to open lasers, and so forth. It just makes it more intuitive, rather than using J, K, L, Alt, F, whatever, and trying to remember that, which, you know, as you get older, it's just an impossibility to a certain extent. I want it to be more intuitive. I want to be able to operate this more like it would be in reality. You know, you wouldn't be operating a spaceship and everything else with a keyboard. You'd be operating it with controls. And then make them, you know, pretty obvious what you're pressing. So anyway, that's coming soon. I'm looking forward to that. But I must also mention, in the release of 4.5 just before Christmas, VR. Now, I've used VR for many years, and I actually ended up selling my MetaQuest 2 because I wasn't using it, but I got a lot of use out of it when it first came out, and was blown away basically by VR. It's an amazing thing. But I was a little bit annoyed really with the games being sort of very, well, I don't know, a bit for a younger audience. Apart from, obviously, I don't know if you've ever done VR, you may or may not agree, but the best thing is still Half-Life Alyx. I mean, it's brilliant. It's what VR should be like. And there's plenty of other games basically now that are as good as VR, as good as Half-Life Alyx, but they potentially sometimes need third-party intervention, because a lot of the AAA games aren't created by the developers to naturally play in VR. But there are some incredibly clever people out there who are able to create profiles for a lot of the AAA games, and therefore you can convert some of those, or a lot of them actually, into VR. So anyway, the concept that you could play Star Citizen in VR, I just had to get one. So anyway, got myself a Meta Quest 3. Took me a while to basically set it up so that I could play Star Citizen through the headset, but I managed it, and wow, it's just incredible. It's everything that I ever wanted. I mean, the sense of actually being in a spaceship is incredible. The depth, the size, the enormity of it, and then the fact that the developers of Star Citizen have created something which is just so brilliantly technically. I mean, VR really shows off the amount of work and effort that has gone in to creating the detail within the ships, within the environments, within the space stations, within everything. It just looks incredible. Unfortunately for me, because I'd already, to a certain extent, got my VR legs, it was easier to transition to VR and play for quite a while, maybe a couple of hours at a time, without feeling any kind of sickness or giddiness or whatever. And I do find the Meta Quest 3 so much more comfortable than Meta Quest 1, especially with the additional head strap that I've got. It's the Bob one, I think it's whatever it is anyway. But it's really good, and it balanced, and it just feels right on the head. So thoroughly recommend that. And in the future, I do intend to do videos basically around VR and all that kind of stuff with Star Citizen. I mean, I've tried quite a few of the loops now with Star Citizen. I mean, I really like this Alpha loop because it's quite relaxed, really, and it looks great, and it feels like you're actually doing salvaging, and you're cleaning up some parts of the universe that we've got ships just hanging about. I mean, the persistent universe concept of Star Citizen is brilliant. That it just remains always on. No loading screens. I mean, okay, we all know that it's got bugs. I mean, it's an alpha, it's not fully released. But I completely forgive anything that's going on, and I'm quite happy to be involved in giving feedback to the developers about anything that I find. For the most part, it's been pretty. I mean, I've been paying for 3 months. It's been pretty good, pretty stable. I get the odd crash, but so what? Is what it is. I can forgive that because it's just so incredible to look at. It's such a beautiful looking game. It's just so well made. The thought that goes into the different what they call it, not loops, the different. There is a word for it, but I can't remember. I mean, that's obviously age, but you know, you can do mining, you can do salvaging, you can do FPS, you can do combat, you can, as you know, possibly if you've been playing for a while, there's so many different ways of playing this. You can play on your own, which I do at the moment. I prefer to play on my own so that I can learn at my own pace. There's plenty of people out there who are willing to help. I mean, the community's brilliant. I mean, I was incredibly. My eyes were open, effectively, to the amount of people that are involved in Star Citizen. How big the community is, how well developed the community is, how many people are willing to offer brilliant tutorials, brilliant information. And you know, I've watched loads and loads of YouTube videos, and they're great. I've learnt loads from them. But I mean, I just suddenly decided, well, you know, I'll give that a go. I mean, I actually fancy the idea of helping somebody out as well if I can, rather than just, you know, play completely on my own and then turn it off and that's the end of it. The fact is that I can now record stuff that I am doing, and share that, and hopefully give somebody else the reassurance, or you know, hopefully they'll feel the same way as me. They'll love it so much that they just want to hear somebody else talk about it with passion. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to fast forward this now a little bit and get to a stage where we, in fact, if we look at, yeah, there's 5. I'm actually reaching the filler station. Oh yeah, it's 5.1. Let me just read that. So in a little while, I'll just fast forward that a little bit. I'll be able to fill my boxes now. The salvaging, should I say, once you reach 6 in the depot, you have to basically transfer your material to storage, and then effectively you can do another 6, but you'd have to offload the 6 in storage before you can then take the stuff out of the depot and then put them into boxes. But so you up to 12 units of salvageable material Salvation is able to do in one trip. I've never done 12. I normally do probably 8 or something like that. And I always like to break the ship up as much as possible, so this can go on for a little while. So anyway, I've been chatting for quite a while, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward this a little bit and then come back when I send the depot material to storage. Bye for now. Okay, so this is the point that I've identified that I'm full, so I'm going to eject the salvaged material into boxes at the back. So there's a few at the back, so you can see the boxes coming out of what I've salvaged. And I haven't finished quite yet, even though I've completed the mission. That came up on the screen to say that I've completed the mission. So I've completed 100% of what is required of me to salvage. I'm going to go back, and I'm actually going to take some more off, which I'll speed through again here. So I'm stripping this, and obviously this is speeded up now 5 times or whatever. So I'm still filling up as much as I can, basically, so I can maximise the amount of money I can make from this. But what I'm going to do is, I know that the ship is too big, basically, for me to be able to break up with my other laser. Fracture mode, they call it, fracture mode. But I did find a way that you can basically just hit the ship with your guns and break components off. But what you'll see in a minute is that when that does eventually break off, it just disappears, which is obviously a strange anomaly. Probably it shouldn't happen because, well, it shouldn't really. It shouldn't just disappear, but you'll see in a second what I mean. But fortunately, once I've broken this off, and then broken off the other side, the central part, the main hull in the middle, remains. So you can see I've broken that off, and there it goes. It just disappears. And the same will happen now again once I've broken this piece off. Just takes a little while because obviously the Salvation ship isn't really massive guns, but good enough. So that's disappeared as well. But what this has remained is that this is still here, and it's got plenty of material still on it for me to sell on. But a strange thing happens in a second. I've speeded this up again, but it suddenly turns blue and a load more material just, there we go, and then it's like it's full of material, and I'm able to it's rotating in front of me like a kebab, and I'm able to just let it roll around and pick off loads of material from it, and effectively making it into just a shell, taking all material, and you can see all the construction material underneath, all the way it's been built, and obviously this again a nod to the developers, the way that they've built these ships. You know, they built them as if they were actual ships with a mainframe structure underneath all the coverings. So once I've done this, once I've stripped everything off that I can possibly find, I will then attempt to disintegrate the rest of the ship, which I can then refine into more sellable material. And I'll show you in a sec that I think there's at least one box, what they call one SCU, I think it's called, Standard Container Unit, which effectively, I don't know, depends on what material it is, but maybe a ton or a couple of tons of what they call construction rubble, which is effectively all what's left of the ship once you've stripped it of its covering metal. So I'm going in now. I'm coming to the end of what I can find, and I'll go over to the other mode, which allows me to disintegrate the rest of what's available. So any second now. Here we go. So, trying to find the which button it is, but I'll get there in the end. There we go. And I'm just going to go closer to it because on the screen it tells me at certain distance the maximum amount of material I can pull out, depending on the distance I am away from the ship. So I'm just maximising my potential there by getting close to it, and it's going to disintegrate, and then it's all just going to disappear into my depot. And there we are. And it's all gone. I'll switch that off, and now what I'm going to do is get ready basically to go to a station where I know that I can refine the rubble which I've just disintegrated, and
System map.
I can hopefully sell the construction material. Now there's plenty of stations all over the place, as you no doubt know if you've been playing. I like this one in particular because it's close to various places I like to travel out to, and whether I'm doing some mining or salvaging or going to different trade centres to sell materials and so forth. So I've just speeded this up again, so off we go. Quantum over to the station. I'm going to land in a minute, so I'm still speeding away this. So this is 5 times faster than it would be if you were playing. Really quite a nice station to land at, this one. I know exactly where it normally is now. I just do a hangar request and then pull round and back to my normal speed now, as I just line up for the hangar and get it nicely in, and drop the landing gear in a second. Drop the landing gear, get it in nice and smooth.
Lowering gear.
Drop it down onto the landing pad.
Landing gear.
I always have a routine basically when I land a ship. First thing I do is turn the engines off,
Engines
and then I go to my Mobi-glass, choose landing, and refuel the quantum, refuel the hydrogen, switch that off, turn the systems off,
Acknowledged.
and exit the ship. And what I'm going to do now is unload what I've got in the back. So I'll go over first to my storage access and pick up the correct... actually, what I do here, I think, is first I have a drink, because you have to keep yourself hydrated. I'll just remove bits and bobs that I don't need at the moment, and pick up my lifter. Have a drink of the exceptionally good green stuff, which not only rehydrates you but is full of vitamins and gorgeousness, and just throw it away because it's mine. I can do what I want. So I'm going to pop over to the back of the Salvation and lower the ramp. Pull out the moving tool. I've got the big one because I deal with a lot of larger cargo as well as the small ones. You don't necessarily need the big one for this, obviously, but it's once you've got it, you've got it. So yeah, I'm pulling these 6 out. So I'll just fast forward this bit. So now, having unloaded all that, I'm going to pop back into the ship, and I know that I've still got some in the depot, so I'm going to just get those last few bits out, or I think there's probably 2 SKUs in there, so I'm just going to eject those 2 and pop back out and put those onto the freight elevator as well. Effectively what I'm going to do is obviously drop the elevator down so they're stored on this particular station. When they're stored on the station, it means that you can access when you go to the commodity shop, which I'll show you in a bit, or the refinery, which I'll go to as well. You can choose the freight elevator as a place where you are storing the materials that you want to sell. And yeah, there's 2 there. So this first one is the actual construction rubble. So this is the one that needs to be refined. You can't sell that as it is. I believe that the others you can sell. I might not be able to sell them here actually. I've found that before. That there's only particular areas or stations or mining depots or that will actually only accept the construction material. And there's a way of finding that out actually. I use a website, a brilliant website actually, and an app on my phone. I think it's called SC. In fact, I'll just try and find it. So as you can see, I'm transferring all the stuff down to the warehouse, and the next thing I'm going to do is pop over to the refinery. Yeah, I've just found the trade tool I use. It's called SC Trade Tools. You can download it as an app, and it's brilliant. It tells you basically where to get the best price for any commodity you've got. So I've just stored my ship there in the hangar, which is always a good thing to do. Make sure it's safe. It can help. I mean, basically, if there's any crashes, which do happen on Star Citizen, sometimes it's best to know that your ship is stored away. It just feels better. I don't know whether it makes any difference, I don't know. So anyway, I'm coming through Faithful Dream Station, where I'm based at the moment, and going up to the inner station transit. So this will give me the option to go to the Galleria or the refinery, and I'm going to go to the refinery first. So just waiting for the elevator to open up, and here we are at the refinery again. Such a lovely visual, so they're doing the audio is really good as well. Just so great. Up these steps past the support centre where you can buy bits and bobs, up into the refinery and over to the refinement centre. So open that up and I begin that, and I choose that that's actually at the station. And now I can see that I've just got one box, if you like, of rubble, and I can choose the way I want to refine this, different prices, different times, so forth. Because it's only one box, I'm going to just try and maximise the amount of material that I get out of it. So maximum yield, it's only a minute, no problem. Sometimes it can be hours, you know, literally. I mean, depend on how much you've got. I mean, I've got a bigger ship, and sometimes up to 64 units, and you know, take 10 hours. But that's fine, because obviously you can do it when you're not playing, when you're gone to bed, eventually when you've been able to pull yourself away from it. So anyway, that's all set up. I'll just have a quick look on the ore sales, just in case. I mean, I know that I can't. I mean, I can't even choose basically where where it is, but I thought I'd just have a check anyway, see if I could sell anything, but I can't. So what I'm going to do now, while I'm waiting for that 1 minute to pass, is I'll just pop to the Galleria. And the Galleria, there's the commodity shop where you can buy materials and sell materials. But all commodity shops, basically, all different stations, cities or whatever, they'll buy them depending on what the demand is. I mean, there's a whole economy in Star Citizen associated with supply and demand of different materials, different costs. Again, there's another resource which I'll tell you about perhaps in another video, regarding prices of commodities, where best to pick them up, where best to take them. So into the commodity shop I go, and I look at where my materials are. So it's I'll scroll down here. Don't know why there's multiple vehicles up there. I've only got one of each. But anyway, into the station, and you can see, yeah, recycled material, but cannot sell. So it's not in demand here. So that basically means that I am going to go on to one of the apps. I think probably the one I mentioned before, SC, and find out basically where in the universe I will get the best price for those materials. In the meantime, I'll go back to the refinery and I will pick up the refined rubble. You need to do this. You need to basically, once the order's complete, you need to pop back and say where you want it to be delivered to. I mean, obviously I've made many mistakes here, but it's all trial and error. This is why I like to learn anything, basically. Sorry, I just noticed something had come up on my audio, but not to worry. So confirmed delivery. It's going to go to the station, so I'm going to pop back down. I'll fast forward through this. I'm going to look up my app and decide where I'm going to go to drop this load off and get paid for it. I'm going to use a different ship though. I'm going to use my Titan ship, which is it's another starter ship basically. It's a really good ship because it's good for combat, and it's also got a bit more room on board for storage. It's the Titan, and once I go through the station here, I'm going to go back into the security area. So I'm going to quick look around there. There's the hospital. I'm not quite. What am I doing here? Oh yeah, that's the habitation area. I probably just decided to give you a little tour while I was here. Those who haven't seen it. I mean, sometimes I just do that because I'm amazed how wonderful everything looks. Anyway, so I'll pop into here, and you go up to this terminal here, which is the fleet manager. This has got my ships in, and I'm going to use the Aegis Titan, and this time it's been delivered to the small hangar because it's only a small ship. So pop down and find my small hangar, and as we enter the hangar, all being well, fingers crossed, it's where it should be, which is coming up the ramp to be delivered right in front of me. I'll just stay on this for a while and show you what this looks like. This is a great ship, a great starter ship. It's agile, it's quick, it's got great weaponry on it, and it looks great as well. Stealth. Really nice. Stealthy, powerful. Little day-to-day runner. So I'm going to pause this now, and I'm going to come back a little bit. There's the inside. That's where you can store up to 8 units in there. Pause this now and have a look basically where I can sell the stuff, and then load it up and take it there and see what we get for it. See you in a bit.